Hello and welcome to Chewing the Fat. Last Saturday, Haylist had his moment in the sun with a brilliant win in the Newmarket Handicap. Managar gutsed it out to win the Australian Cup, but more importantly this week, there are 3 meetings we're going to look at and plenty of winners. Moonee Valley Friday night, a terrific night's racing, which has really been the theme of the summer racing over the carnival at the Valley. Then it's Saturday Bendigo. They get their time for a standalone city meeting, and soggy Sydney commences their carnival with the Group 1 Randwick Guineas. But first, a very warm welcome to my co-hosts, fresh from their walk in the 4 tracks for kids, Bree Lachlan and Edward Sadler. How are you both?
Yeah, really good, thanks, Nick.
That's the way. And how have you recovered after the big walk last Friday?
Yes, my legs have recovered just. It was such a fabulous experience and so well organised with the Doxa Youth Foundation. And it was a great surprise. We had Sub-Zero waiting at the top of the straight at Flemington and we headed down to the winning post. It was a really special moment.
Bree beat me to the finish line, Nick, but we made sure that we beat Richie Callender over the line. That was the most important part.
Yes, we beat Richie.
I'd hope so. And money a bit tight in the Sadler household, and John had to sponsor you with a shirt.
Yeah, you're pretty funny, aren't you, Nick?
Now, I'm sure you'll grow into it, Edward. It's a good look.
I didn't realise too it was Casual Friday on the set, but apparently your horse ate your shirt.
Yes, we won't go there, but we've been saying for a long time, if you can't beat them, join them. And as you know, in this punting caper, it's very difficult to find a winner. So we've decided to do the smart thing this week. Instead of trying to do the form and find a winner, we're going to get the enemy on the show to try and help us out. We're going to be joined by Sean Anderson, a bookie from sportsbet.com.au. So have you got a couple of questions up your sleeve?
Just while I'm on that note, Nick, too, of course, each week we have our Tip Against Nick competition. And for the first time in 3 weeks, you actually won the Tip Against Nick competition. So got to give you a big round of applause. You went from 0 winners the week before to 3 last Saturday. So if you keep it up, you might actually be a decent punter.
Oh, no, I was motivated.
It was a backhanded compliment. I can never give you a proper one. You know that.
Let's move on.
Well, we're going to take a break on Chewing the Fat, and when we return, we'll be joined in the studio with Sean Anderson. Welcome back to Chewing the Fat. As we know, it's going to be a huge weekend of racing, but there's also plenty of sport to whet the appetite of punters. We've got the NAB Cup Grand Final and, of course, the Grand Prix in Melbourne. So, Sean, lots of markets for the punters out there to bet on.
Yeah, Nick, great to be here. There's plenty on the weekend. From a NAB Cup point of view, the Adelaide Crows are the dead set favourites. They've come from $1.88 to $1.80, so all the money's on them so far.
And with this day and age, with so much to bet on, so much racing, so much sport, how big is the sports betting side of your company?
Yeah, it's getting bigger. Obviously, racing's the key, but we offer lots of different markets, and pretty much any sport you want to bet on, we'll offer a market. So it's getting bigger, but obviously racing's the number one. And
in such a competitive industry, I know sportsbet.com.au have a lot of initiatives to help put themselves apart from the competition. Some of them, some refunds, some promotional things, which might sound a little bit gimmicky, but can make a huge difference to your everyday punter.
Yeah, definitely. We pride ourselves on doing those kind of things. So at the moment we have the protest payout, which the first day was actually a couple of weeks ago, and Moonee got done. So we gave away 300k that day. So that was the very first day. So it was pretty busy in the office. But the beauty of that is that it's every race, every day. It's not just a one-off. So it doesn't matter if it's Flemington or a country meet will give you money back if it gets done in the protest.
So when Manawanui hit the line first and then you heard the meow, was there a few people going, oh, this could be good for business, or people going, oh, please, no?
Well, we were prepared to give the money back in the first place, but having been done in such a big race, was obviously a lot of attention around it, and I think a few punters who didn't even know that we had the protest were happy to see that their money had been put back in their account. So, as we said, it's going to be every week, every day, not just a one-off, so it's here to stay.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, another market that has been open recently for Sportsbet is Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, dance sport, this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, we love doing these sort of markets on the entertainment side, and we've got Johnny Ruffo as a $4 favourite, and we've actually got Brian Mannix, who works in the office at sportsbet.com.au, he's actually $26, so he's not happy about that, but if he goes okay in the first couple of weeks, you might wind him in a little bit.
It means it's shade of overs or shade of unders?
He said he probably should be hundreds, but I think he just wants to beat Fev. That's his aim, is to beat longer than Fev. So if he can do that, we might wind him in a bit.
You've got Fev in there. You've got Erin McNaught as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's one of the favourites. She's around $6, but it's early days. Haven't even had a go yet. But Johnny Ruffo is the $4 favourite quite clearly.
I know you spent hours of time Googling Erin McNaught's form. Do you think she's a good bet at the $6?
Yeah, I do actually. I think she'll be pretty popular. Obviously, comes up okay on TV, and so that's an advantage for her. So yeah, it could be value there.
Now, while it's a great concept betting on the Dancing with the Stars, we're worried you've made a clear omission from your market. We might just have a little bit of footage and wonder why you haven't got this bloke right at the pointy end. Well, safe to say Edward Sadler now an odds-on favourite?
Yeah, after that, might have to reassess the market and put him as maybe a $2 favourite after that. It's pretty impressive.
Best bet of the week.
Well, obviously, as we said, a huge weekend this weekend for racing, and not only horse racing, of course, the F1, the Grand Prix this weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting. You get these big events in Melbourne, and there's a lot of patriotic money for the Aussies. So Sebastian Vettel is the $2.37 favourite. Mark Webber at $8. We've actually taken a fair bit of money on him. As I said, might be one-time punters just want to get behind him. So we're certainly taking a lot of interest in it, and we've got a couple of novelty markets on crowd size under and over at $1.88 for 300,000. So we think it's going to be a pretty good turnout again. So that might be something people want to bet on.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, two Aussies in the field this year, with Daniel Ricciardo making his debut.
Yeah.
How's the market for him?
Not as popular as Webb, obviously. He's 101 to 1, so it might take a bit of a miracle to get him up there, but there'll probably be some patriotic money for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think the 237 on Vettel is a very good bet, and we're going to try and hopefully build a bank for the big race on Sunday afternoon by finding a winner at Randwick on Saturday. You've talked about the specials you've got in terms of the protest refund or payout. Is there a special, though, you might want to be steering the punters into to back a winner?
Yeah, I snuck down to the trading floor last night and asked the punters what they liked. So Manawanui opened at $3, now to $3.30, so not a lot of love for that. But machines come really firm. It opened at $4, $3.80, and now $3.50. So that would be the one I'd be going on. We actually have a special on if your horse runs second to Manawanui, you get your money back. So you might want to have a go at machine, and if it comes second to Manawanui, you get money back.
A little bit of insurance there.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see, though. I think might get out again on the day with being a Sydney race, but we'll see what happens. And what about Friday night at Moonee Valley? Is there something there you'd like to steer the punters into?
Yeah, I know you like Danny the Fox, but I've had a bit of a word on Proliferate, so I'm not too sure. I actually like both of them, but Proliferate I think will be the one that'll get up there.
You sure you didn't sneak into Brie Loughlin's bedroom and get her form guide last night?
Yeah,
These are all her tips.
Yeah, well, she picks the winners. That's the main thing.
Thank you.
Well, enough about blokes sneaking into Brie's bedroom, but thank you very much for joining us, Chewin. You've been a fantastic guest, and hopefully plenty of punters can sign up with sportsbet.com.au and find a winner in all the sports and racing this weekend.
Great, thanks.
We're going to take a break on Chewing the Fat, and when we return, we're going to preview all the big races at Moonee Valley, Bendigo and Randwick.
Austbrokers Bloodstock. For horse owners, by horse owners. With all the answers to protect your investment, Austbrokers work for you to provide the right cover and the best value. And most importantly, they're in your corner when you make a claim. Austbrokers' business is built around relationships. That's why our clients have been with us for so long. Horses are not just our business, they're our life. Why not talk to one of our team today? Call us on 029 570 8355 or go to our website bloodstockinsurance.com.au. Austbrokers, young faces, years of experience.
Welcome back to Chewing the Fat. Racing in Sydney returns to Randwick this weekend with the Group 1 Randwick Guineas for 3-year-olds over 1,600 metres. Now, Moonee hasn't had much luck on or off the track, but punters have got him favourite to beat this Saturday. Let's take a look at the market thanks to Sportsbet. So as I said, Moonee coming in favourite at $3.20, Mosheen at $3.50, Strike the Stars at $11 and Laserhawk with Nash Rawiller aboard at $13. What do we think, Nick?
Yes, it's a great race, and clearly the two horses to beat are Moonee and Mosheen. Personally, I think they are moral to run the Quinella. I can't see any other horse challenging them. If they run up to their best, they'll be 2 lengths better than the rest. From a punting perspective, they're the only two I'm going to need for the quaddie, and I might throw something like a Hugel or a Moment in Change in for third.
I think Moonee deserves his luck. He's had 2 really good runs so far this campaign from the 2 starts, and I mean, he was first past the post last time and the stewards sorted out that result. I think I disagree on your point. It's a 2-horse race. I mean, Mosheen and Moonee, the 2 class runners in it, but I like Strike the Stars. You know, he's running the Guineas behind Mosheen last time, was really good. And I also think that Moment of Change, a horse, you know, he's already had a couple of starts in Sydney going really well, and Peter Moody gave a decent push for him when I spoke to him at track work. Let's have a look exactly what Peter had to say, as well as Mosheen's trainer, Robert Smurden. Start off on the Randwick Guineas, Moment of Change. His 2 runs in Sydney have been terrific so far.
Yeah, he's raced tremendous. He's still quite new at the caper and very lightly raced compared to some of his competitors, but I think he'll appreciate the step out to a mile. Al Nolan goes on for the first time this week, and although he hasn't ridden him in a race, he's ridden him a lot at home. I think the most important factor with him will be a firm surface. If it does present at Randwick on Saturday, I think you'll start to see the best of this horse, as he's just struggled on the wet tracks thus far in Sydney.
Mosheen heading up to Sydney for the Randwick Guineas. How's she come along since that terrific Guineas win?
We've been really happy with her. She's been working right-handed on the steeple grass here at Caulfield. She's had the use of the running rail each time she's worked. Danny Nicholik's been really happy with her, and he's been involved with her from the start, so he can assess her pretty well. So, yeah, he's pretty optimistic.
So just recapping our selections, Nick, you're going for?
I've just got Moonee on top.
Edward?
Moonee.
I'm going for Mosheen. I think that Dan Nicholik is on a mission, and I think he will ride Mosheen home.
Well, he got her home from barrier 20 of 20 to get on the fence, and beautiful ride last time. So people are not as keen on her because of the wide barrier this time, but she's proven them wrong before.
You can do it. Exactly. Well, we're going to take a short break on Chewing the Fat, but when we return, we'll have a look at the races in Victoria this Friday and Saturday.
I'm here at the Yalumba Bendigo Golden Mile race day launch at the Albert Park Hotel. There are lots of racing enthusiasts around. I'm about to delve a little deeper into their thoughts about the Autumn Carnival. Now, where to start? I'm here with Dr. Dennis Napthine, the Minister for Racing. Dennis, what is it that you love about country racing?
I love the atmosphere. It's a great family atmosphere, a great way for people to come along to racing for the first time and have a great day out.
I'm interested to know what horses you'll be watching this autumn.
Well, I mean, I'll be watching lots of Black Caviar as the obvious one, and what she's planning on doing has everyone on the edge of their seats. Is she going to go to Dubai? Is she going to go through to Ascot? So what a great racing story from that point of view. Also, what they're doing here at Bendigo, I think, is a great initiative, not only by Racing Victoria, but also by Country Racing Victoria and by the Bendigo Jockey Club.
Are there any that you'll be keeping an eye on this autumn?
Well, since I usually go for a bit of colour, I guess Pinker Pinker is a name that stands out to me. And then I guess there's all the big guns at the moment with Americane, Sepoy, and of course Black Caviar.
What do you love about country races versus city racing?
I think I love the fashion the most. I think they keep it very classic, whereas the metro races are quite contemporary and very out there, but I really love a good classic outfit. I love the horses as well. I have horses of my own, so I do enjoy going to see the horses race.
Make no mistake, Bendigo will be the next provincial city to go internationally on the racing arena, because someone will win that cup and be part of the overall Spring Carnival. And I think Bendigo is in an amazing position to be poised and going forward.
Well, Saturday is a special day for country racing, something close to my heart, where Bendigo is holding a standalone meeting for the first time in its history. The feature race is the Bendigo Golden Mile, worth $125,000. Let's take a look at the markets, thanks to Sportsbet. On top, we've got Test Toscana and Happy Trails at $5. Folding Gear with Ben Malum aboard there at $6. Red Colossus comes in at $10 and Eraset at $12. Nick, what are your thoughts?
I think Test Toscana is a terrific bet at $5. I'd give this horse a live chance in the Doncaster. So to win a race like the Doncaster, where it's about $61 at the moment if you're interested, it's got to be...
You clearly already are interested.
It's got to be obviously a big chance in a race like this. A very strong race, but I've got Test Toscana clearly on top. And I think Red Colossus will run a big race after it being very disappointing at Flemington last start when well backed, but I think second up will be hard to beat.
Now, Bree, have you seen classic Australian movie in the 80s? I think it was around the castle.
Oh, yes.
The key quote, telling me he's dreaming.
Telling me he's dreaming.
Well, Quinny's dreaming when it comes to Test Toscana and the Doncaster.
The 80s?
80s? Well, I wasn't around back in those days. You were
mid-90s.
All right, well, I was a little one. That's all I can remember anyway. I think Happy Trails for me. He's, you know, he really finished off that race well at Flemington over the 1400, got well back. I black booked him standing in the rain there watching that race. He steps up to the 1600. I think he's the one to beat. But you've obviously mentioned Test Toscana, Nick. Peter Moody, this is what he had to say about Test Toscana.
Test Toscana lines up the favourite on the Golden Mile.
Yeah, well, he ran well the other day at Flemington. Probably just peaked on his run the last 100, so out to a mile where he's very effective. Still got a fair share of weight for a horse of his size, but no, he's primed to run well third running.
Now, recapping our selections there, Nick?
Clearly with Test Toscana.
Happy Trails.
And I'm going with Happy Trails as well. So, Nick, you're the odd one out.
Not for the first time.
Well, finally, night racing at Moonee Valley on Friday night. We've got the Group 2 Alistair Clark Stakes over 2,040 metres. Waiting on the fixed odds for this one. What do you think, Nick?
Very keen on a horse called Danny the Fox. This horse was well backed at Caulfield last start and got absolutely flattened just before the turn. I've had a look at a few markets that some price assessors have done, and the horse's odds range from $10 to $16. So if there's any of that available, bet each way, but bet big.
Not sure about that Autumn Classic race on Blue Diamond Day at Caulfield from a form perspective. Upbeat won it. I don't know, it's a query race for mine. I'm going to go with more the Guineas form, and I'm going to go with Sabrage. You know, I think they're a little bit too brilliant for him. Mike Moroney disagreed, thought it was the wet track. I just felt from the 400 to the 200, they were just that bit too good for him in a 1,600 metre race, but his final 200 metres was terrific. He ran like a horse looking for 2,000 metres. He gets that on Friday night. You know, he's won the Norman Robinson place in the Derby. He's certainly for mine anyway. We'll find out what the bookies say when the fixed odds come out, but he's certainly for me the one to beat. let's have a look at what the connections had to say about the running of this year's Alistair Clark Stakes.
Sabrage runs in the Alistair Clark. What did you think of his Guineas run?
Yeah, quite good. He just sort of got held up and had to change ground and was making good late ground. Sort of tried to follow a machine through that gap, but by the time he actually arrived there, it was close. So, we decided to go to the Alistair Clark. We were going to go to the Randwick Guineas, but just thought that he looks as if he wants to go a bit further the way he's racing. So, we're going to step straight to 2,000 metres, and his record once he gets to that sort of trips is very good.
Proliferate runs. What did you think of his Guineas performance?
Second up in the Guineas on a track that was rain affected. Halfway through the race, he ended up 3 deep with no cover. I should have run him in the 1800 here, but he's a colt, and we were trying to win a Group 1 with him, and then it rained, so we were on the wrong leg there, and I wasn't all that excited by the ride. Anyway, we're back on track to a point, even though 13 days straight to 2,000 metres, so he's really only had one strong mile gallop where he was really good. He's a clean-winded horse, but there's nothing like race toughness. Funny thing about that race, no speed on. So I don't want to be the leader because he's not a good horse when he's in front. So it will. We'll see what happens, but mate, I think he'll run well. I mean, a lot of horses in the same boat in that race. They're coming from the mile race into the 2,000. A couple of horses in bad form. It's a funny race, but I think he'll run well.
Well, recapping those selections there for the Alistair Clark Stakes, Nick.
I'm sticking with Danny the Fox.
Sabrage.
And I'm going for Proliferate. Unlucky in the last start. Copped contact late, and I think definitely has the form to win this race.
Normally the females in that seat don't really give such good justification to their tips, but no, play on.
Well, that concludes our preview of the racing action this week. Don't go away. We'll be back after the break. You're watching Chewin' the Fat.
Introducing Equiano, the king of speed. A dual Group 1 winner of the Royal Ascot's King's Stand Stakes over 1,000 metres. Rated 127 plus on time form and third on the 2010 World Sprint Rankings, 2 below Black Caviar and just 1 below Star Spangled Banner. By sensational stallion acclamation, the Rory's Jester of the UK and now sire of sires with leading first season son, Dark Angel, with a fee of just $15,000.
Welcome back to Chewing the Fat. Now, before we go on, I'm sure you've noticed that Edward has had a bit of a hairy.
Yes, I thought we can't have just one person be the hair of Chewing the Fat. So,
the new hair of Chewing the Fat. Jealous much?
Carry on.
Well, unfortunately, Adrian missed out and didn't quite beat you, Nick, in the tip against Nick competition.
Shouldn't you be happy for your stablemate to get a victory?
No, in this case, Nick tipped 3 and unfortunately Adrian only tipped 2. So congratulations, Nick.
Although I have to say it's actually good for us because he's been taking money of our pay packets to pay for the betting prizes going to the winners of the tip against Nick. So we actually get paid in full this week, which is a nice change.
Well, best of luck to this week's tipster, Zach from Caulfield. If you'd like to check out Zach's tips or get the goss behind the scenes of Chewing the Fat, add us on the Facebook page or follow us on Twitter at Chewing the Fat Racing. Well, let's take a look at our best bets and roughies for this coming weekend. Huge weekend in sport and racing. Nick, what are you going for?
Firstly, commiserations to Zach for the upcoming loss. Best bet of the day, Friday night at Moonee Valley, Randara in race 2, the Jim Conlon galloper. This horse flew home at Flemington last start, steps up in distance, looks a really smart type, and I think Randara will be winning at the Valley on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, best roughie, and I'll just let you know I'm very, very keen on this one. Randwick, race 5, number 1, Uate. Was disappointing last spring, returned from a spell, but before that, the autumn campaign was very impressive and showed was back to his best with a fast finishing second in a recent barrier trial when just beaten by a horse called Haylist. That's good enough for me.
You've already tipped me into that one, Quinny, and I don't normally take tips after you. For this weekend, I'm going to go for Coolgwinda at the Valley, field of 6.
Like the $1.60?
Any price is a good price if it's a winning price, you taught me. And that's what sent me broke. On to other things. My best roughie, I'm going for Moment of Change. Really surprised the $16 they put up on Wednesday about this horse. finished close up behind Moonee at its past 2 starts. Moonee is the $3 favourite for the race. You're getting, Moment of Change was unlucky, copped a little bit of that interference that the protest resulted in, and only finished, a length and a half behind Moonee. So I think big difference in the price. You have to go for Moment of Change if you're a value man.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm heading to Bendigo for my best in race 5, number 4, Jelly Baby. I think it's definitely with a name like that. Surely it has to run home. And my roughie is also at Bendigo in race 8, Umadidas. So we'll see how it goes. But best of luck to Bendigo this weekend with their race meet. And before we move on, a tip for the Grand Prix, guys.
Well, we can't have a Grand Prix preview without giving a tip for the Grand Prix. I can't see Sebastian Vettel being beaten. I think the 237 that Sean Anderson said he was currently paying with sportsbet.com.au might be a great league for a few multis, and you can even take horses into the sport, so that might be one to think about as well.
I know you've already thought about it, given the way you punt Quinny. I'm going for Vettel as well because that's Michael Schumacher's tip. He knows a lot more about the cars than I do, so I'll go for Vettel to win.
Okay, I'm actually going for Jensen Button's team. I follow Jensen on Twitter and he's a very cool guy, so hopefully he has a win.
Well, as a former grid girl, we better take what you've got to say very seriously.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, sadly, that's all we've got time for on Chewing the Fat, but make sure you get involved with the social media. Add us as a friend on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, and we'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening and probably keep you entertained in the meantime. 2 weeks away till the big race meet in Dubai, and we're going to have men on the ground to keep you up to speed with what's happening with Helmet and Sepoy as they prepared for World Cup night. But sadly, that's all we've got time for on Chewing the Fat, but make sure you join us again this time next week.